You showed me how to dare to love. So tell me what you're thinking
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Collab Collective, where we are redefining the way creatives connect. My name is Josh, and I'd like to welcome you to the YouTube live stream trial session. So for the last few streams, we've been experimenting with a variety of different formats. So today we're going to do a panel discussion. So during the talk, if you guys have any questions, please just go to the chat function in YouTube. And then if you do ask a question, just type a big Q in front of it, and then we can always trace back and find it. So today's topic is called Confessions of a Community Builder. Why is it important? More and more people are joining online communities these days, and so I thought, it'd be a good idea to really understand what goes behind planning and organizing an online community. So like the why behind the communities, hear about the origin stories. We also want to inspire you guys who are interested to start an online community, give you guys some ideas. And then also, I think it's important for the existing members of online communities to just appreciate like all the hard work that goes behind it. So today I am bringing 4 special, amazing community design community leaders. And so they're going to share about their experiences. And then after we'll open it up for Q&A. So, all right. So with that, I am going to introduce, we have Leticia Serrano from IterateUX. Where is my applause button here? All right. We got Jarell Alvarez from Vancouver Design Checkin.
Love it.
We got Jenny Minky from UX. Woohoo. And last but definitely not least, we have Grace Ling from Design Buddies. All right. Awesome. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, again, just pop it down and we'll bring it up. So let's start, I guess, in that order. Leticia, you can start. Just share a little bit about IterateUX, your community, what you guys do, just in a little nutshell, and we'll move it around. Oh. Hang on. I think you are muted. So this is live stream. This is the beauty of live stream. It's authentic. It's real. Mistakes happen. No idea. Okay. I think we might need you to come in and out. So I'll come back around if you want to hang up, and then we'll get back to you. All right. We'll move to Jarell. If you want to share about
Hey, everyone.
Design Check-in.
Yeah, for sure. So Vancouver Design Check-in was made about a year ago. It kind of just started off with me really wanting to find a community, especially during school, and I didn't really find that. And then kind of fast forward a couple more years, and I was looking for work, and I was unemployed for a good 7 months or something like that. And I kind of found that it was hard to break into communities. There was like such a huge barrier at the time. So I figured that as kind of like a lonely local designer who didn't really know how to reach out to people in person and never did and never ever like went to a meetup by himself, I figured like, what if I just create a place where 30 people, that was my goal, 30 people can just hang out, talk to each other, and just share whatever topics that they wanted. And so far we have 550 people all around the world. It's grown tremendously, a lot more than I expected it to be, and it's still that really fun, inclusive place that I dreamed of
Awesome.
a year ago.
Really great. Thank you. Over to you, Jenny, if you can share a little bit about Ladies That UX.
Definitely. Yeah. So I'm one of 3 coordinators of the Vancouver chapter of Ladies at UX. So Ladies at UX is actually a global community. There's chapters all over the place from Europe, Australia, even one in Africa. And the goal of the community is really to have a place where women can connect, build relationships, support each other, and of course, promote female talent. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Euphemia is in the house. Grace, please share the amazing design buddies and the crazy network you've built recently.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on. I'm Grace, full-time product designer at Electronic Arts, but on the side, I run Design Buddies. Design Buddies really started when I was a student last year, where I recently graduated from undergrad studying bioengineering and computer engineering. Nothing related to design, but I just wanted to learn design, and I felt like other communities that I've joined at that time were really scary and really intimidating. So I didn't really know anyone in design. I was trying to pivot to that career path. So I felt like the best way to complain was to make stuff. So I made Design Buddies. And this was April of 2020. And today, about a year later, we have 24.5 thousand members in the Discord community.
Wow.
And we've been branching off to, thank you. Yeah, we've been branching off to many other social media platforms as well, kind of going the design influencer route. But Design Buddies is really a place for anybody interested in design to connect, get free resources. We're partnered with a bunch of companies to get free stuff for people, and just a place to like connect, vibe, and talk about design without feeling judged, because I felt judged in the other communities I was personally in before the whole pandemic and stuff. So yeah, best way to complain is make stuff. So that's how Design Buddies was born. Thank you.
That's awesome. All right, here we are. So it sounds like, some of us who started the community, like we kind of wanted to scratch our own itch. Maybe does anyone want to like chat a little bit more about that? Like why even build an online community? Like let's expand about that. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Sorry,
that's great.
Leticia. Yes. Let's share. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was
There
thinking
you
that
go.
maybe
Perfect.
they cannot hear you. I cannot hear me. All right. Well, I can make the introduction at IterateUX. Well, I am Leticia Serrano, the original founder of IterateUX. I started this community 1 year ago, and each 2 months, each more. And IterateUX is a UX community for UX designers, people from different levels and backgrounds from Canada and United States. We are a virtual platform that offers learning user experience design courses, and not only we teach or we try to teach hard skills, but also soft skills. Because it's super important to have the collaboration, for example, for us in our field as a UX designers.
Mm-hmm.
And our values as a community is to keep learning, motivate others, collaborate, and belong in this friendly environment we try to build. And we try in our best to transmit that to our volunteers. We have an amazing team, and they try their best to put those words out there. So our focus in Canada and United States, because we try to bring people that have the same culture. So have the same culture of work, because when you are learning something new, a new discipline where we are focused on, it's something that you have to feel comfortable with the people you are working with, right? So it is way better to work with people from the United States and Canada, which we are doing that. And what we offer is, of course, whiteboard challenges or these portfolio reviews, Discord, of course, how we Discord server, and also we have bi-weekly meeting from this month. What else? How I started? You wanted to? I can continue that.
No, that's
do you
perfect.
want to jump in other?
That's
okay.
perfect. That's good. So, okay, this is, I mean, it's a panel discussion, but also I want this to be a time where we all can learn from each other as well. So if you guys have other questions, just interject, and just gonna have a good time. So, but I do want to open up with like audience growth. Like, how do you guys grow your audience? How did it happen? Did you guys have like a strategic plan? Was it very organic? I know some of you guys had like explosive growth. Yeah, I'll leave it open for one of you guys to
I'll go first, just because I feel like mine is the most unorthodox, untraditional method I think anyone's had here. So like I started it because I was in a kind of conference, and I didn't like the way that I felt like I was a teacher. Like I had to, a student in the front of a classroom, like having to unmute my mic, just surrounded by faces, everyone's cameras off. It felt so awkward. I was like, there has to be a better way where I can learn and engage with others in a very normal and natural way, as if we're hanging out at a bar, as if we're hanging out at a cafe. That's really, really what I wanted to do. So I just asked, like, why haven't I seen anything like this in Vancouver? Let me try it out. Let me pitch it out to a subgroup in an event that was happening, a design week event. And then people responded. I was like, wow, people from Vancouver. Okay. That's really all that got into my head. And then I just said, okay, I guess I'm going to make a Slack group. Wants to join. And no one joined for like 4 months. I only had 3 meetings.
Oh, wow.
And like 2 people were kind of revved up about it. Andre and Max, wherever you are, you start from the start. And it just started with 2 people. And it just kind of blossomed because I saw opportunities where people weren't talking to each other. I saw different Slack groups in which I can kind of engage with others and learn from others, and started to kind of promote like this idea that you can just hang out in a room full of people and talk, and you can learn whatever you want to learn. You get whatever value you want out of it. And I don't have a website. I don't have an Instagram. I just have a link. And that's
Slack
it.
group. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's good. I can continue next, maybe.
Yeah.
How I grow, or maybe how can I start? Because I didn't start the community thinking in a community. Actually, I can give you a context of how was my life in that moment. That could give you an overview, guys. Why I started doing this. And in the beginning of the pandemic, I moved in here in Canada. I was new immigrant with no knowledge in English. So for me, it was really difficult to get a job, to get know other people that were interested in myself, in me as a designer. And also because of COVID, I didn't have the opportunity to apply for jobs because there weren't any single design position in LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you mean. So I wasn't able. I didn't know exactly, and it's oh my gosh, this is gonna happen. But when I have to return to my country, this is not gonna happen. So I have to give myself, just continue doing something else, and so I have to network with a lot of people from here, Vancouver. I wasn't able to close my door in Vancouver in Canada because, of course, I had to learn a lot. I have to put myself out there and try my best to, to improve my English, which is the number one thing that I have to learn. So then I started looking for jobs. I started networking a lot, and with my background in graphic design, I pursued my career in design all the time, and needed to work. I needed to grow a lot, right? So I started networking with different designers weekly, like all the time, the same day, the same time. For sure, it's going to give me some knowledge, some value for sure. So that was the start of IterateUX with Adam. Adam Hill, yeah.
You were network on what platform was that where you met Adam?
Shaper.
Shaper, okay. Do you guys know Shaper? I've never heard of it. Okay.
I think I came across it. I don't know much about it.
I think, yeah, I met plenty of good people in there, but later on, maybe the more you talk in Shaper, you have more people selling you stuff, which is not a good thing. So I don't recommend that much Shaper.
So then
if you have a good
you guys just started meeting on Zoom.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We started meeting with Adam and planning we can build like a very good UX community, little community, where you can find a connection with the others. And then it turns out that in some months after, he cannot continue doing it. So he did a step apart, and after that, in 2 months after, Liz come and join to me, and we build a very good team together. So having a great team in the head is extremely important. And she was everything what I needed to be. She was super helpful for me. We just work pretty much well with each other. We support each other, and we learn from each other as well.
That's awesome.
So after that, today, how to grow, it's of course, we build Padma today this year, which is another co-founder of IterateUX, and I'm super happy for her to be in our community because she's super passionate. She's going to put the community in one step ahead. So I cannot be happier.
And prior to having Liz and Padma, you were basically doing everything on your own, right? Networking, creating your thumbnails, and organizing a Zoom, uploading all on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, before Liz, I was doing pretty much everything, and then we joined forces, and everything goes smoothly, and we could work in improving our content in a quality way.
Right.
So not in a quantity way. So that is why we were more focused in understanding the user needs, our people needs.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jenny, I'm curious that if you can share more on Ladies at UX. You had amazing meetings in Vancouver, in person. How did you guys transition to online? And by the way, this is finally our first time connecting.
Totally. This is in real life, but I guess it's somewhat real life.
It's as close as you can get.
Yeah, right. For as far as growing our community, we sell out almost every single event. So for us, it's actually really about making our events constantly better, that we are cultivating deeper connections. That's a really big thing for us. And sorry, what was your other question that you asked?
How was the transition from in-person events to online? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So that's definitely one of the challenges from moving from in-person to online is being able to still have those deep connections. And that was something that made our in-person events so special, was, not just having the panelists come up and speak, but being able to chat with them afterwards or before the event, and also talking to people one-on-one. You just can't quite repeat that over a digital product quite yet. I think, you're talking, one of the other panelists was talking about this earlier about, everyone being on mute and everyone having their cameras off. And sometimes you feel like you're talking into a black hole.
Yeah.
So we've been putting a lot of effort into making sure we're having breakout rooms and networking opportunities before and after. But yeah, it definitely has been a challenge to make sure that we still are having questions ready, that we're creating an environment where people feel comfortable getting off their camera and speaking.
Right.
Making sure that we're really open. If there's like your kids, especially being in a, women's at UX environment, that we're making space for moms to have a baby on their lap or walking their dog or whatever they need to do. So we're still working on making it better constantly, but it definitely there's definitely challenges that came with moving completely remote.
Are there talks and you guys planning to meet in person again now that restrictions are starting to lift off?
We've started talking about it. There's nothing set in stone, but we'll definitely go back to having some events in person. But on the flip side, being able to run events online is so much easier, and it does increase the audience and accessibility to people who maybe can't make it downtown or like do have those commitments with children or things at home. So we are looking towards doing a combination of both in the future.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
That's exciting. Can't wait to go to Ladies at UX meetings.
Yeah.
In-person meeting.
A massive Vancouver meetup.
Reunion, yeah.
All right, Grace, do you have? I'm sure you have a lot of things to share on like growing your audience.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I'll talk about like some of the things that work, but to sum it up, it's a lot of like A/B testing and just not being afraid to like test new things out and seeing how people respond and looking at data and making decisions based on that, looking at data objectively. So how I started Design Buddies was I already had like kind of like a solid social media presence, but what I did, my audience is mostly like people like students, runners, people in tech, engineers. So I didn't really have that many like design connections. I had like a big art Instagram, but this is like prior to Design Buddies. So I kind of integrated a lot of Design Buddies and my own personal brand online as well. But how I started Design Buddies specifically was I posted in this Facebook group called Asian Creative Network, and I was like, does anyone want to create a wholesome design chat or something along the lines of that? Because I just want to meet designers, and for me, I really needed a job. And so I graduated undergrad in 2019, and the big reason why I signed up for grad school because I want another summer to intern so I can like break myself into the design industry. And it was like COVID and stuff. I was like, everything's canceled. I was like, I really need a job, and like all the jobs are closed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try networking, and that's also part of the reason why too. So I can relate to some of y'all here. And yeah, so I made that post in Asian Creative Network around like March of 2020, wholesome design chat, and 200 people commented on it. And I was like, I just created a messenger chat, and it like soon like was almost full. And someone was like, why not do like Slack or Discord? So I was like, okay, I'll do Discord. And then, and after that, I started hosting meetups back to back, like meetups like once a week, starting like April and May. And then and also like posted it on my own social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. And this kind of grew from there. And we were actually Zoom bombed at our first meetup as well. Like we were like attacked by like 6 people because I like plugged it like everywhere, like on Twitter, everywhere. So like obviously like probably went into like people with like non like wholesome intentions. So we kind of really focus on security and making sure that people feel safe. And so we made sure people feel verified and changed the name to their real name on Discord and added some gating. So making people feel safe and making people feel like they're in a place where they can express themselves without feeling judged as well is also really, really important to community building. So I kept hosting meetups, and then I started inviting guest speakers on, or people started reaching out to us a few months later to do talks with us. And these are people who are like industry leaders as well, just wanting to give talks to Design Buddies. So we started organizing even more events. So now we host like 10 a month, and like usually like 4 big ones where we have like 200 to 300 people live at the same time, max, at our events. And those grow a lot because people share with their friends. And but kind of at the same time, I also post a lot on social media because I've been blogging myself since 2014, since high school. So I kind of carried on that kind of personal blog style talking about my career lessons I learned to LinkedIn. And I talked about some of the struggles I faced along the way, how I found a design buddies, Zoom bomb. And so some of those posts went viral. And that's also how I was able to grow design buddies, because I talked about, like, I was a little bit vulnerable and talking about what happened, how I felt, and I learned from that. And people really resonate with these kind of posts because they realize, oh, I'm not alone. Like, I can like relate, and I just like want to learn more and join design buddies. And so that's another way. So it's all about like making a space where people feel included, people feel like they can express themselves, and people feel like they can relate to the story and how it was founded. Because I share my story a lot about how I struggled getting into design at first, and people struggle with that. So having a place where people can relate also helps. And myself, I also subtly say, like, yeah, feel free to share design buddies with your friends who are feeling helpful. And just kind of like YouTubers are like, make sure to click the thumbs up button, because things like that, it's actually like ingrained in people's heads. That's something that the advertising do. So that's what I do as well. So that also helps. And when people also personally reach out to me for like career advice a lot, and I was like, you can join Design Buddies for more. So that's also another way I was able to like share it more as well. Right. But yeah, so now it kind of got to the point where people were like promoting for us. Like, I barely promote Design Buddies anymore, only for our events sometimes, but I have people like promoting for me. And yeah, that's how we were able to like grow. It started with just like creating like a safe space, removing all the trolls and making sure I have mods. And talking about my team, I actually look over a team of over 40. We have like 12 lead admins with all different roles. Like, some of them manage a merch collection, some do events, content team, moderation, community. That's huge. And so I have a team of over 40 working or helping out design buddies as well, and some with some capacity that they can put on their resume too. And so I try to really help my team also get roles. Like, I help them like get recruiting jobs and just try to give back as well. And so I try to just really scale up, because I also learned a lot of management skills as well, and learn how to delegate, learn how to assign tasks, learn how to do my roadmap, and looking at how to prioritize things and operate as a team as well, and assign tasks and delegate everything. So all of that also like helped it grow a lot, because myself, like, I work full time, and so I can't like be on 24/7, but we have people from different time zones helping moderate. So to sum it up, it's a combination of making a safe space, trying to plan events on based on what people want, and then scaling up with a team to help me delegate and everything. But yeah, it kind of sums it up.
Wow, a lot of knowledge bombs right there. That was good. Okay, I do want to talk about that. Like, I do want to touch on the challenges. Like, if you guys can share, what are the challenges you guys encountered in organizing, planning events, building up the culture? Because eventually, if you come across too many of it, or you handle it on your own, you'll lead to burnout, right? So eventually I want to touch on like burnout, and I know, Grace, you've openly shared on that, which is really great. You're very vulnerable. But before we do that, I want to do a little bit of a more shout outs here. I think we got Andre.
Oh my god,
Andre. Shout out to Alan. Welcome, Alan. And Laura in the house, #1 fan. That's great.
#1 fan, Laura. Hit her up.
I think there's another topic here, another comment. But anyways, yeah. So can you guys share a little bit, like, what are the biggest challenges that you guys face when just curating this community? What kind of comes top of mind?
I can start if you want. I have. Definitely build a team. Build that. Actually, this is the most difficult part, when you have to. Okay, many people can volunteer actually in your community, but actually, who is gonna work? Who is gonna work for the community itself? Okay. It's not this. It's not any person is gonna work the same in the same way. Not all the person is gonna have the same values that you wanted to share to the others. So pick the right person, select the right person for volunteer. That is really challenging, still is really challenging, but you have to make sure, or I had to make sure that they share my values, they share our values, and yeah, exactly. And our commitment as well.
So finding someone to commit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think on that note, I think it is going to that point when you need to build a team, when you need to say that I can't do everything myself and I need to delegate. I'm still in that kind of crossroads where I want to see commitment from other people, but I don't. I'm worried about just like telling them, hey, I want you to try this. If they're not really at my speed or with my commitment level, it's really hard to give someone a task and really put them onto this pedestal that you made for them. I think that's a huge challenge, and it's pretty challenging not even meeting a lot of these people. And like I really want to meet them, but it's we have to play by the rules, and it's sometimes just really hard to connect and get overwhelmed with all the people that message you, and you have all these partnership ideas, and you have the world you feels like in your hands, and you just like feel on top of the world. And then when you try out all these things, you're like, oh no, I might need to pivot just because it's a little bit too much.
Right.
Yeah, but exactly, that is a good point, because I was in that moment, and you have to know why you are doing what you are doing, and then you're going to have your north, and you're going to move forward with that north in your vision. It's your mission and your mission where all the people are going to follow you. Otherwise, what they are doing in their daily task, is it's tricky to find the north. It's tricky. It's difficult to find that north. Put all the team following you, But if you believe that north, they are going to believe for sure.
Do you think it's good to have the little double diamond approach, where when you first start, you need to kind of go wide first and then explore a variety of different topics, guest speakers and things like that, and then refine down?
I did.
Is that a good approach?
Yeah, I did. I apply UX processing in the community, and it worked a lot.
Okay.
I didn't. I think I just kind of honestly
Do it.
I'm someone who just wanted to not make this a job for me. I wanted it to make it really scalable, so it's super easy to manage and didn't take any like Upwork on my hand. And it's still, in relative terms, it does, but now I keep finding more opportunities to make it, so I have to like kind of dial it back. But I have more of a methodology just to try it, and you'll see what works, what doesn't work. But the problem is that if you don't try it, you'll never know. You'll always be assuming, you'll always be guessing, and you'll never understand. Like, for example, Josh, I talked to you about this. I was like, why does my community work? And you just said, I don't know, it's just your vibe. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to change anything. And I honestly just haven't changed really much until people step up and they want to try something. And I'm like, yeah, dude, here's the keys to the castle. Do whatever you want. I support you, right? I want to really make sure that I'm empowering other people to step up and take this leadership role that I have, because I know what I can do, and it's a lot. And I really want people to step up and understand that this is really the path to serving others and helping others.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can relate with a lot of the struggles y'all talked about. Like, I feel like in the beginning, the biggest struggle I had was like learning to delegate. And in the beginning, I was like, I was a student. Like, I never like worked or managed anyone, never have any like official full-time work experience. So I was like, IDK how like managers work and how to like assign tasks and stuff. And so it was just like figuring it out along the way, where I feel like it was good for me to put on all the hats in the beginning, doing everything, because then I could think of, how does this scale? Like, what kind of processes, what kind of things can I document so I can hand this off to someone else to do as well? So I kind of let people, it's like riding a bicycle where you have like training wheels, where I just like guide them through in the background. And then once I see that they can do it, I was like, oh, hey, you can do it now. You can lead this whole initiative. I don't have to be at the meetings, and I don't have to like be at this event. I trust you to like best judgment that you can do the job well. So I feel like just in the beginning, how I learned to really delegate was learning about what is needed and what I like to do and what I don't like to do. So now these days, I don't even like respond to like the mod messages. Like, I have people responding to me on behalf of design buddies and to like moderation and like DMs to the team, and also with like partnership inquiries. Like, I don't even handle most of that anymore.
Wow.
So I mostly
That's
do
awesome.
the product thinking and the road mapping and like the future direction kind of things. But I still love design, so I still design most of the banners if you see on social media, because I like doing it. but I lead direction on the branding and the tone of voice and everything too. So I do a lot of the high level leadership stuff, and I kind of, because I know how to host events, I still do for most of them, but I have like processes, a lot of templates, a lot of processes and documentation that I can just hand out to someone else. And another thing I struggled with, Josh, you touched on burnout. And so
Yes.
I kind of went through the largest burnout of my life recently. It was around March, where it was in a place where I felt like I had to respond to everybody because I was like, oh, these people are so nice. I should like be nice back. But then it came to the point where I was receiving like over 100 messages a day and just like speaking engagement requests like every single day. And so a lot of times they want me to do like a workshop, like intro to UI UX. I did it like 30 times. And after that, I just like can't do another intro to UI UX workshop on behalf of Design Buddies. So, and I never got paid for any of it as well. And so it got me really thinking about like, and I started reading a lot of books, particularly on personal finance, investing. And it really made me learn that time is a resource that you never get back. And it really made me reevaluate how I spend my time on the internet and how I spend my time with people and how I just like think about what do I get out of it. And for me, a reason why I say yes to this is I enjoy talking about these topics and I feel like I can learn from all of y'all as well. But then I just stopped responding to like a lot of messages. Like, people that kind of up to my burnout always like DMing me like, can I pick your brain? And I just send them articles. So I learned how to like scale that way by like writing articles, but also realizing that I don't have to respond to everybody. And sometimes like I just like miss messages and I just kind of just do whatever I can. And another thing that led to my burnout was kind of people who get banned from Design Buddies and they go on my social media and just to try to just like make me look bad to my employer or like threaten to like start some kind of like fake news to my employer. And yeah, it was really, really interesting and really not wholesome in a way. So, and I realized like the best thing to do in these situations happen, like it's just not respond to them. And they just want your attention. So once I just stopped responding, just got bored and went away. But that was really bad. I would get like gaslighted and just like, it was like threats and stuff because they got banned from Design Buddies for causing problems. And so that all kind of factored in my burnout. And so I really learned to just not care about people who are like not wholesome and just like not respond. And really it starts with like thinking of how your time is a resource you'll never get ever back. So really think about how you're spending your time and what direction you want to go with your life. And you don't owe anybody a response. You know how to respond to people if they're not nice to you or just like want to pick your brain and you feel like you won't get anything out of it.
I think just to
Andre says
it's
pay her.
I volunteer a lot for a lot of speaking
money,
opportunities.
sis.
So yeah,
whoever is out there who is sending messages to a founder that the way don't do that is so rude. It's not good. It's not talking nothing good about yourself. We don't know you anything, and we wanted to help with our communities to grow yourself, but help yourself first.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing the right things.
Life is a lot about what you shouldn't do versus what you should do. Like we can do whatever we want right now. There's literally any variable. There's nothing that's stopping me from doing something bad to someone, right? The only thing is stopping is me. And you have a choice whether you want to do something or not. The real question is, what are you going to do with your time? That's the most precious, the most valuable, that you can impact other people and that can lead to more riches for everyone.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Grace kind of touched on this. We have obviously same challenge with keeping our community safe and security with Ladies at UX. Obviously, some messages that we get through our meetup group and things like that. And a lot of times people ask us like, why do we only allow women or transgender folks to come to our events? And the reason is safety. And we want to really cultivate a community that is safe and honest and open. And that is just one way that we can do it. So yeah, that is definitely a challenge that we have ourselves, is keeping that community really secure and safe and open, and making sure that we're cultivating a place where people feel like they can talk and share their stories without judgment. And it's not always easy. We've had situations as well where we're getting messages that are totally inappropriate and that sort of thing. But it's nice to hear that other communities too are going through it, and it's not just specific to ours. And then to kind of echo what Leticia was saying earlier, like there's 3 of us that run the Ladies at UX Vancouver. Thankfully, we are all really honest with our commitment and how much time and energy we can put into the community. And Euphemia, shout out to her in the chat, is so amazing. She's our fearless leader, and kind of has that North Star for us. And I'm lucky enough I just get to follow and be there to support. But yeah, I think that's something that when I started and first joined Ladies at UX, I wanted to do everything and run a ton of events all the time. And just be able to be really honest with yourself and what you can manage so that you don't end up burning yourself out it's a lesson to learn.
What was it that made you want to join Ladies at UX? Was there a specific thing? Like, did you just love organizing events, or you just believed in the cause?
Both, actually. I did come before I was a UX designer. I was actually in event marketing. So running events has kind of been my whole life up until that point. And then like these folks, I also was on the job hunt. I was looking to make a shift to a more senior role. I was going to a ton of events, trying to learn and absorb everything I could. And I just noticed there was a lack of female speakers and presenters at these events. So I had an idea that I wanted to do around International Women's Day, an event with female panelists, and talk about issues like, returning to the workforce after maternity leave, family planning, how you balance work and life. And I went to an event and met Euphemia there, and she said she was looking for help with Ladies at UX. So we joined forces, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's awesome. All right. So
Cool.
I wonder if I think this would be a good time to do a little fun break. So this is a little surprise to some of you guys, but we got to spice things up a little. So I like How I Met Your Mother, and this is the only type of like sitcom that has 5 people. So if it's just random, but we're gonna do a little like screenshot opportunity, photo op. So here we go. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna try to fix your face in here.
Oh my god.
And then we're gonna do a little screenshot. So try to match
I gotta move my mic.
All right. So in 3, 2, 1, guys, take a little screenshot. All right, there you go. Thank you.
There we go.
For some reason, I felt like I could pose like the character. Like I had to lean in and put my hands in. Like,
Okay, so my next question is, what are some of the biggest needs that you see your community like currently has right now?
Yeah, I can start if you want, or
Sure.
whatever. Yeah, I think for 1 year I was looking why our students are in our community, why we have this community, why people are joining us, why they are constantly coming to our events. So first, we figured out that the pandemic brought tons of new companies looking for UX and UI people. On the other hand, you have many people transitioning to UX as well. So we have plenty of new students, self-learners, learning UX from different backgrounds, from different levels, looking for jobs. And because of this, there are so many new students that were starting in 3 months courses or 9 month courses, boot camps, which is okay. That is okay because you can learn UX, but actually the boot camps are making believe you that you are getting to get the job as soon as you get the curriculum, you get the title, So it's not gonna
That's the
happen. That
golden lie.
it's not enough. Exactly. Correct. It's to say, okay, I'm gonna pay you a lot of money, which is super expensive actually. But bootcamp are super expensive. The better, more expensive it's gonna be, right? So that is not enough. So we understood that the students and the self-learner were paying a lot of money for something that they are not getting it. So we tried to figure out what they have to do. As a designer, I know design is more about training, about doing stuff, about time and exercise all the time, constantly. This is a way to live, you know? So for that, we address our community for a learning curve,
Right.
where we wanted to give them the opportunity to learn in hands-on, you know, projects like practical knowledge sessions or design hackathons or whatever they prefer to have in.
Right. So to further develop their skills, basically, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Until they get a job or.
Exactly. It's before to get a job and after or during, of course, to get being a student in a bootcamp.
That's awesome. So good. So needed for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of offer things that they might need for sure. Awesome. Juniors and aspiring.
I think that's a huge pattern that I've been seeing. A lot of mentees. So I also mentor at ADP List. I've been doing it since December, and I got rejected like a bunch of other places. So I was like, I'm doing it on the side, but you guys are rejecting me. Cool. But what really sprung to me, and a kind of need that I have somewhere in my gut, is like what connects everyone together. What's the like foundation that people
the human
need
human
and
connection.
Want? The human connection, but I haven't seen that in Vancouver, and that was partly why I really wanted to include Vancouver into my name, and I wanted it to be Checkin because I wanted to really check in with your health, your mental health. You know, how are you doing? That's really where it kind of sprung. Like, how are you doing? Where's that first question? And from now, like, it's me trying to not do as much because I feel like with all the events and everything that's happening, it's really easy to kind of fall into this rhythm and to this mindset like, oh man, I need to do more and more and more. And then I'm trying to do less so I can really understand what's been happening, so I can kind of digest all of this information, these feelings, these things, and really take time for myself and let the community kind of run itself and ultimately empower others to do that for themselves as well, and provide them the tools and provide them the events and provide them the partnerships and provide them whatever they need. I really want to play that supportive. I'm going to be the hype man to whatever you want, you know, whatever message, you know, you got to get used to this mentality that you can take on the world, but you know, there's only Vancouver and you're only one person. So you just got to do your best.
Laura said, I went to a lot of meetups in the past, so it was hard to build connections naturally due to not meeting folks again. So I think she was referring to more like consistent like communities and connections.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So one aspect that I really wanted to do was steal, and I steal a lot of things. But I try not to get influenced by other things, but I like to steal things that just work. And Donut works. You get matched up with someone else and you talk, right?
Okay.
So I just said, I don't want to pay like, you know, $10 per person. I'm just going to do it myself with a spreadsheet, super low. Like Carolyn came up to me. It's like, hey, can we do like a coffee meetup? And I'm like, okay, sure. Can you do it? And then she did it for me. I was like, okay, cool. So she helps me run it.
Okay, for those who don't know Donut, can you explain that?
Yeah. Sorry. So Donut is like you get matched up with another person, whatever, you know, monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, you have a choice. And then for me, for scalability wise, I just said, you guys can talk whatever you want. Go ahead. Just, you know, if you want to be engaged, like, so I'm learning a lot about engagement and getting people involved, you know, using emojis to vote, using polls, asking them what time they want to meet, just to get more engagement and just to let them choose whatever they want to choose for themselves, right? It's all about the choice and empowerment. And then to take that step further, I said, okay, let's take mini bite-sized my bi-weeklies and just have 4 people talk. And so I do Connect 4 because I love Connect 4, the game. And I literally couldn't think of anything else. Like I just like all of my names just come at me once, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. All right, done, send it. I don't think about much.
Got it.
And it's working, and people are meeting up, and people are getting jobs from each other, and people, when they come to the biweekly, they know each other, and they bring other people involved, and they see that vibe that I'm trying to create for everyone, and they bring it to whatever they want to bring.
Yeah, I mean, I just popped into one of your meetings last night, and like, it's a very genuine vibe. Like, someone got a job yesterday, and every one of you guys like genuinely celebrated her win. And it was awesome. You guys are really close. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Shout out to Max, because he's watching this while he's shopping with his girlfriend. And I had a beer reserved for him for like 2 weeks because he didn't show up to the last one. And I was able to crack it open because he got a job. And I'm so proud of him. And it was, 8 months. And that's kind of wins that we want to celebrate and just share with everyone and ride that energy, ride that wave and the learnings right now.
It's inspiring as well for the others. With
Exactly.
looking. Yeah, exactly.
That's a hard thing to maintain when you start scaling and your community grows a lot, is to have that intimacy.
Exactly.
So that's really great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I have ideas. We'll see.
The retention strategy.
Yeah. The rest of you guys.
Okay, going off the term of scaling, we've dealt with this as well. Like, we notice that like people in design buddies, they want that like one-on-one connection. But then there's like one of the top feedback I get from people is like they feel like it's like too large of a community to like get one-on-one connections, because we're at 24.5K. And so we kind of do this by having clubs. So we have like 5 clubs now. We have like 3 different book clubs run by a community /admin/moderators. And we have like a book club, 3 different book clubs, a movie club where they watch movies together, and a game club where we discuss games and play games and discuss them. So think of like these clubs in like high school and college, but doing them in a design buddy setting, in an online setting. So we had that. And we've also tried like icebreaker video. I think it changed to something else since, but people really enjoy that as well. But really, we also have smaller channels. And so we have, like, in Discord, you can have roles in which you can set permission to different channels. So, for example, we have students hang out, professionals hang out, and continent-specific hangout, so people can find people similarly to the demographic as well. So these are kind of the things we've kind of noticed. People really want this, like, intimate, this small group, but because we're such a large community, it's kind of hard, but we try all these little things to foster that. And sorry, I just choked on my own saliva.
all good.
Thank you,
like trying things out and collecting feedback. And another thing we've kind of learned, like what people like come to design buddies wanting is we've noticed that like most people who join design buddies are people who want a job. Like usually they're like students trying to learn about UX, or people like career transitioners. And so in the beginning we had a lot of like intro to UI UX events. And then we've noticed that once people get a job, they kind of drop off design buddies. Like a lot of people who are active, once they get a job, they stop. So we started to pivot away early 2021 to thinking about designers' life cycle. Like, what do designers need at every point of their career? So we started to do more events on like working cross-functionally, design systems, design leadership. Also something I'm curious, because we've done too many like intro to UI UX events. Like I can't do anymore. And so we just really think about designing content that it's like that professionals would want to see. Like we recently had like one about accessibility. And so just thinking, but we also still do intro to UI UX events because we have a lot of people finding design buddies through that. But I'm just not the one managing it. So we really think about the designer's life cycle and thinking what pain points they want, what kind of things do they want in the community, and kind of address those. So we do this by a lot of surveys, research, and people ask me questions about my career, want to do a coffee chat. I ask them, what do you think of design buddies? How do you like get some like user research questions in there as well? So I also gather a lot of data from that too.
So good.
And we also have a focus group. So it's like 50 or 40 people. We have like town halls every few months. We kind of gather data about like what's going well, what's not going well, what can be improved. So I keep asking these kind of questions at every single ad meeting, every single focus group, town hall, to really get feedback, and it all just aligns to what do designers want at every point of their job, because our goal is to become a design influencer. Kind of, we have our mascot called Fluffle the bunny, and so we have a whole like persona to Fluffle, a whole merch line, and we're trying to like really expand out our content as well and our merch and our brand. And so our goal is to really become, when people think of design buddies, and just thinking of how that would look like, bring our brand, bring our mascot, kind of taking the influencer model, but for a community, and just thinking about designers' life cycle and what kind of needs, what kind of pain points do they want, and how do we solve for these pain points that designers have at every point of their design career or their journey and stuff. So yeah, so those are kind of the ways we kind of work through these challenges, but really our goal is to really retain people once they get a job, so they don't like to drop off, and create these also small group connections that people want, that also helps them find mentors, find potential employers. People have found jobs through design buddies. I've advertised some of the roles are open on my team at EA, so people like from design buddies have applied and have got in, they're on my team,
nice.
and now we're co-workers. So it's been pretty cool, and I'm able to like help refer a lot of people that I worked with before in design buddies to EA as well, so I was able to help them in that capacity. So yeah, we just aim to just try to, like, sometimes people would say like, oh, you should like focus on like one demographic, but we did, and we noticed that like there's a drop off, so we started just like focusing on multiple and try to like expand out that way, and we're just testing that out. I know like as like someone starting a product, it's always good to focus on one, but we're just trying it out because we tried focusing on one, but then the drop off, so we're just trying to focus on like everyone now and seeing how that goes.
Which can you share which one you tried to focus on at one point?
Oh yeah, we try to focus on students. Like college students who want to get a job in design, but we notice a lot of professionals joining, and we want to have them active because they can be mentors, and now they are. So like we have a lot of active professionals like who are like senior managers, directors in design buddies, like answering questions for students too. So that's why we try to really retain these people, because it's like a nice little ecosystem that we have for like professionals helping students helping give nice feedback on professionals' ADP list profile, and yeah, they're helping each other out, and like students giving professionals LinkedIn recommendations, helping them out getting promoted. And so we try to think about how this like nice little ecosystem would work together.
That is so awesome. We have Alan here. He's like, what's UI UX? I think he's good for your intro. Nah, he's a senior designer. Funny guy. So it sounds like, I mean, a common thing among most of our communities is like the people just want jobs, right? At the end of the day, that's always like a big perk. Do you see that as well, Jenny, and ladies at UX, or like what have you noticed in like the biggest needs in your community so far?
Yeah, for sure. I think, we also have tons of new grads or people who are exploring UXUI. We are taking a similar approach to Grace, that we're looking to like not just be doing intros to UXUI. When we have speakers, a lot of speakers approach us, we want them to talk about their expertise, like something that they have that's unique that most designers wouldn't maybe learn in their daily role. So, we had someone talk about longitudinal research. We've had someone talk about game design. We've had someone talk about imposter syndrome. So we're really looking for topics that are unique and fresh, and that aren't directed towards juniors or senior designers, that they're just more specific on the topic. And we found that that's helped us retain designers as they're growing, once they're in their first role and as they're moving into intermediate and up into senior, that we have people from all over the spectrum. Because like the others said, it's really, when you're looking for that first job, it's not about what you know, it's really about who you know. And being able to build and make those connections is super important when you're on the job hunt. We also do talk a lot about encouraging, even it's just saying this because that's something I'm passionate about. Like if you're a junior designer or an intermediate designer, like there's no reason you can't become a mentor. And we see this a lot. Like every senior designer wants to be mentored by like the director of design at Shopify. Like who does it, But
wait, fun fact. I connected with him very recently. Literally, Shopify director UX, and then he messaged me like this. I know I can't. And then I have the screenshots. I was like, what? And then
it's real life.
And then
so it is
just
possible.
became
it is possible.
Literally, he just became the Shopify UX, and then he sent me a message. I was like, Okay. So I screenshot it. I was like, this is a joke, isn't it? And then it looked like copy paste. And then I was like, hey, I'm a mentor, but I'm an intermediate and I'm looking for mentorship from a director. Can we talk? And then he messaged me the next day and was like, yeah, let's set something up. I'm just settling down here, but we'll talk. I was like, what?
That is awesome. That's so awesome.
How did that happen?
Right? I think we need more of that in the industry. I think you're never, even after you're in your job for a year, you've learned so much in that first year. You have a wealth of knowledge that you can help students or new grads or people even curious about moving into UX and UI. So it's something that I'd love to see just in general is, people not being afraid or having that imposter syndrome that they don't know enough yet.
Yeah.
It's just getting everyone throughout whatever phase they're in, looking out for those that are right underneath them and right underneath them and right underneath them. I think it would be amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Really cool. I love how you guys like bring up very specialized topics and kind of like capturing those niche areas. Yeah.
Yeah, it really gives people an opportunity to explore a direction that maybe they hadn't thought about going, or maybe they're looking for their next step in their career. So yeah, and it's just, I think all designers are curious people, so it's great to like learn about something that maybe you haven't interacted with before. So yeah.
I think that's also cool too, because for example, I thought I wanted, I had this vision for myself. Oh, I want to be a design leader. Oh, I want to be, director. And then when I'm talking to like my director at my Copperleaf, which I've subtly influenced them all to like join ADP list and become mentors just by saying it once, and like they see my LinkedIn activity, so they all joined in. But it's really cool because you can see what it's like to be a director from their eyes, what they go through, what their day-to-day is, and you can actually tell, like, is that right for you? You get that gut feeling, like, is that something that you want to do? Is that something that you have the experience to do? Can you handle the CEO, the director of this product? And so you can get that really intimate knowledge that you can't really find anywhere else.
Really cool. All right, so thanks, Jarell. That was awesome. It's been an hour. Wow, time flies. So, guys, people on the interwebs, if you have questions, ask it now and put a giant Q so we'll basically open up for a quick Q&A. But while we are waiting for those questions to come in, I'll ask this maybe one or two more questions. Okay, what are some things that you guys wished you knew before starting or getting involved in community building?
I don't really think I have anything for this one. I wish I did.
But I think we kind of covered it before. But
yeah, and I was so lucky that, Ladies at UX already has, a global community, and Euphemia is already doing such an amazing job that my personal transition to joining the team was so easy. So over to you guys for this question.
It's something already done for you. That was waiting for you. You know that. Okay, I could go then.
Yeah.
I personally, this question is kind of tricky because I don't believe I should change anything. Actually, everything in my life, in your life, even here, this meeting is happening for some reason. That is my belief. But again, I can't deny that I have struggled a lot with a lot of people in different times for different reasons. But all those things, all those experiences, I might be freaking out in some meetings, making some mistakes all over the place, all of the way. But for sure, it was an experience that I cannot be ashamed on. So definitely,
no regrets.
Yeah, no regret at all. Why should you regret with something that you are? This is a learning process for you as well, to be a leader, to be a designer, to be a human being. You know.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say just iterate along the way.
Exactly. It's iterating yourself every single hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that mindset. I tried my best to like think in that way. Like, it's everything in my life, it's like data. it's like I can iterate upon this data I have now. Because I feel like if things don't go right, then I have data. It's not like I should feel bad because I know I'm just trying my best and if it doesn't work out, that's data. It's not something I should like blame myself for. So always data to like iterate on. So I always like approach life that way with like no regrets because again, everything happens for a reason. If just like for me, like I wish I didn't study bioengineering sometimes, but I feel like knowing that was enough, that was important for me to realize that like, oh, it's not something I want to go down on my career path. And I'm really glad I found that out when I was in college. And so really like in life, everything happens for a reason. But I would say the most important lessons I've learned through Design Buddies is, well, two really important lessons is really creating a place where people can speak up and making people's voices heard are super, super important. And having a team, delegating things, empowering your team, thinking about like, what do people get out of Design Buddies? Because it's like, we're like basically not for profit, so it's all volunteer for now. So thinking about how I can give back to them, making it like a two-way street. And the third less important lesson is to like knowing your boundaries and being confident enough to say no in situations. And
Exactly.
I feel like confidence just comes from like thinking of time is like a limited resource where no one gets back. And so thinking about how you want to structure your life, how different, just prioritize that way as well. And really standing your ground, stepping up stepping up about what you believe for is some most important lessons I've learned through like creating Design Buddies.
Awesome. So good. So good.
Nice. I don't know. I
guess for
it's
someone
always,
who's looking to start their community now, what advice would you give them?
Okay, sure. Honestly, you just start with one person. Like I just started with Max and Andre. I just said, hey, here's an idea. Are you down with it? And they're like, yeah, sure. Here's an email. And then I had like a couple emails. And I had a prescribed script. I had questions. I had what community means to me. You know, I kind of took like this approach like, oh, I know everything. You know, so when we got into the call, it was just me, Max, and Andre, and we grabbed a beer, and we just started talking. And I think just really connecting and learning from each other and just laughing and just, you know, me kind of just really finding people that had a similar vibe and a similar understanding. It really was the most fun I had in the pandemic. I think, you know, I think Winston Churchill said something along the lines like, you never want to waste like a global catastrophe or something like that. Just because. Yeah, global crisis, exactly. And that is the worst thing, is that if you kind of shell and you dig down into yourself and you don't help others. That was the biggest aha moment. Was I like woke up one morning and I saw my entire career flash between my eyes and I was scared. And it's either you can run away or you can face that challenge and do something that seems impossible until it becomes reality, and then you keep kind of chasing that dream that you had, the itches that you want to scratch. Just go for it. Like you'll never know until you do it. Talk is talk. And that's all it is. Anyone can talk about any idea and say that it's a good one, but if you don't do it, you'll never know.
Awesome. So good. Okay, we have a question from Andre. This is perfect. As your communities grow, what direction do you want your communities to grow towards? Or I guess like, where do you guys see the future of like community events and your communities hitting? We'll wrap it up with this question. What's the future?
You can plan ahead 1 year, 2 year, 5, 10 years, but you don't know what is going to happen. We are living in COVID time. You don't know when it's going to open the border, you know? So it's kind of tricky. I mean, I have planted some ideas for this year, next quarter of the year, for next year as well, for 2 years maybe, but I have my plans, but nobody tells you it's going to happen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Right.
I think the adaptive kind of agile approach is really necessary. Like you got to be a chameleon and just really shape to what the surroundings are. I mean, again, like 3 of our communities would have never came up because of the pandemic, right? and we wouldn't have reached out to people if we needed to, and then we would never have been able to do all these cool things just because, you know, if we just said, that's too hard, you know. And so with the future for me, I really want people to see Canada and not just Toronto and see Vancouver. That's kind of one weird little goal that I had. I just really want Vancouver to be a definitive place for design because I feel like if I can get people really amped up about designers in Vancouver, I can get more jobs. I can get more kind of tech people coming in. I can get more roles out there, and I can get more hype around it. And I feel like that's something that, for me, like, I really want to focus on what brought people together. And I figured let's kind of stick local because people locally need jobs and I needed a job. And that's probably the best place that I can start. So just started super small, started super local, you know, with 2 people, just really, 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 really small. And then I started to find different pathways, you know, partnering with different communities, talking to others, seeing different events. But it really just started with just trying something really small. Exactly, right? So thank you.
City.
Right? You got to pay homage to where you're from and the locals, and you guys have a shared language, a shared culture, something that's shared. It's super, super important to if you're going to build something, just make sure that there's something that's a shared culture around it.
Awesome.
I am, again, I know we don't know what's happening, but I am really looking forward to getting back to in-person events. And I'm really looking forward to having the combination of the two where we're able to do in-person, but we're still doing a few times a year online events as well. I think where I'd love to see us grow is continuing to find ways to build those connections when we're online and even when you're in person, because there's nothing more awkward when you walk into an event by yourself and everyone's kind of in their little circles and you're like standing there awkwardly with your drink and you're like, how do I put my way into this
the
conversation?
coffee, eh? Man, that coffee's hot. Oh man, I don't want to talk to that person again. Oh, that was super awkward. Done that a bunch of times.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? So yeah, to continue to make those events like making sure that we try to take away that awkwardness. We try to give openers for people to connect to each other, whether it's, you know, breakout groups, which we've learned from our breakout rooms on Zoom. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can kind of level up our in-person events and continue to improve our online events.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be some hybrid approach. Things we're going to learn from online, we're going to apply it in person. And then, it'll be really neat. Really cool.
Yeah,
I'm wondering what is happening with the I don't know, the moms at home. They're gonna be online? Are they gonna be in person?
Oh yeah.
You know, that could be another point. There are so many more than 30 years old looking for transition in UX or learning UX or attend, you know, in person or attend events. To grow, right?
A lot of opportunities.
Yeah, we're also looking at both hybrid models of online and in person. We already have people like meeting up in real life and tagging us on our Instagram stories, which is really cool. And we already have people like wanting.
I saw Jason. I saw that. Yeah, Jason and
like I thought that was so cool, and we want to really, and that I posted it in our like mod/focus group chat, and like we had people wanting to host meetups in like 3 parts of the world already. So definitely in-person meetups, but also because we're global, we want to be inclusive, which is one of our mission statements, having ways where anybody in the world can access, and even if people like don't even have like the finance to travel and stuff, they can still access it online and stuff. So we really want to think about like how do we make it as inclusive as possible, but also give people that like in-person connection. And we definitely want to keep catering to like as many people as we can, because we have that nice little like ecosystem going of different design experiences, and just keep growing and just keep vibing along the way. And for me, in 5 years, I kind of also want to try to be a digital nomad before like I settle somewhere for a while.
Nice.
And so Design Buddies World Tour has been in the thoughts, in discussion for a very long time. So exactly. Design Buddies World Tour, we just like vibe and just like connect with each other and have meetups and I don't know,
That's
have like a show or design challenge or something like that. Yeah, so that's definitely in the future. We already have a date set for a Bay Area meetup, and you have people helping out. So in person, hybrid model. Yeah.
I had a weird, wild idea.
Do you have, Grace, that you are in some point you are going to get off from your job?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't want to make that public right now. I don't
you don't need to answer. You don't need to answer.
Yeah, he's watching.
Yeah, for me personally, if I feel like I'm still learning, then I'm going to stay wherever I go. So it really depends on, like, I feel like I'm really open-minded. As long as I feel like I'm learning and progressing my career, leveling up every day, then I'm staying wherever I'm at. But the moment I stop learning is when I pivot elsewhere. So, I mean, that can mean anything. Same with design buddies. Like, we just, like, as long as I feel like we're still evolving, we're still going to try new things and just, like, seeing it from there. And just having an open mind and taking challenges and learning from them as they come.
I have a really wild idea just off of what you said. What if we rent? This was my plan very early on when I saw traction and Josh came into my community. I was like, "Ooh, seniors! Ooh, people traction! Ooh, okay." Like, we can rent like Vancouver Convention Center and just have a community of communities just come together and just like it's a beautiful venue. There's so much space, you know.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
like that, my dream. You know, my dream is always to rent out like a bar and just have beers with each other. That's really like the end of the day. That's always what I wanted to do. Is just
you can organize the after party. I think.
There you go.
That. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I'm getting a lot of comments. People are getting lots out of this, so thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna play this little. Where is it?
Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. I've always enjoyed talking about community building and design community building. It's like two of my favorite topics to talk about. So this was fun. Yeah,
we covered a lot of ground, so I'm really glad. So with that, guys, if you received any value out of this talk and got some like career advice and just transitioning, make sure you guys just contribute to the community. So write a testimonial, share their events to other designers, like spread the word. There's a lot that goes behind community planning, so make sure you just show appreciation to everyone here. So with that, I forgot. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you guys?
I'm on every single social media network, so I have a comment post with links. I do a lot of talk, so I can just bring that up.
All right.
My secret sauce is that I have not.
But
I haven't. I don't. Like again, I asked Josh what my secret sauce was, and it's like this kind of low key, like underground movement that I keep building up, and I just have a Slack link that Josh has access to, and I give it to people. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Low barrier entry.
All right, great. Jenny from Ladies at UX.
Yeah, we're on Meetup for Ladies at UX Vancouver. But like I said, there are chapters all over the world. So anyone who's tuning in from outside of Vancouver, Ladies at UX website has all of the chapters, and there's like hundreds of them. So visit ladiesatux.com.
Awesome. Leticia.
For me, for IterateUX, we can join in Meetup, looking for IterateUX community, or then IterateUX.com, the website, or Discord as well. You can go in the website, and then you can find the Discord link.
Okay, awesome.
And be part of the group.
I'll post it in the description. All right, everyone. Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Everybody's on Discord.
Good weekend.